It's shocking. It really is shocking. Maybe if I truly go back and look at the last couple years in horror, maybe I'm not giving it enough credit, but for some reason, 2022 felt like a great year for horror movies, and I was really impressed with some of the films that came out. Here's some of the movies that didn't make my list, didn't make my top five. I'm talking about Nope, which is probably the first Jordan Peele horror movie that did not make my list. Werewolf by Night, which was Marvel's kind of first time taking a chance with horror, true horror. Pearl, which I thought was very original, very different. Prey, which I could not believe how good that was and how much it brought some new life into the Predator franchise. And also Terrifier 2, which I didn't love the story of Terrifier 2. There were things about Terrifier 2 that I didn't care for, but I can't deny that the kills, the gore, the graphicness of it, and there were some other things that I said, fuck, this movie has something to it. But let's get into my top five best horror movies of 2022. Coming in at number five, The Black Phone. Now, here's a horror movie that I was very impressed with. Not just the premise, the fact that it was about little kids being taken and abducted by a creepy guy in a mask or makeup. And it was all of that. It was creepy. It was disheartening to follow this kid being trapped in some basement or some underground area, and he didn't know where he was, and he was freaking out over it. Ethan Hawke being the creeper, being the kidnapper, I thought he brought a whole new level of performance that I really appreciated. The fact that this took place in, I believe, the 70s, so you had that vibe of just how different parenting was back in the day. There's one scene where the father, who's drunk, is yelling at his daughter because he doesn't believe that his daughter really has visions or premonitions of in dreams of stuff that she can see, and he whips her and she's crying and yelling back at him, and it just, you don't get scenes like that anymore between parents and kids. You had the past ghosts, the past souls, in a sense, of the kids, that previous kids that have been taken and killed by Ethan Hawke. And so these kids are trying to help our main character, our main kid, trying to help him survive. Number four, if I didn't have Pearl on the list, I had to put X on the list. I love the fact that, first of all, X and Pearl are both connected to each other. Same universe, one's a prequel, and they both came out in the same year. That's wild enough. But also X being more of a throwback, another 70s type horror movie, reminds me a little bit of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The fact that it takes place in Texas, sure, that helps. But also just the idea of, here's a group of people who are going out there, they need this barn, and they're shooting a porno. So, of course, there's your excuse for sex and lots of it. Brittany Snow, especially, being a character that, man, she was willing to get naked, she was willing to get down and dirty, and she usually doesn't play a character like that, so I was impressed. And then Jenna Ortega also was one of those actresses that seems like she's willing to do some crazy shit. Number three, Smile. Now, this is even surprising to me because Smile was a movie that, when I first heard of it, when I first saw the trailers, when I first saw the poster of the woman smiling, I thought, oh, great. This reminds me of that really horrible Truth or Dare movie. You remember that? I thought it was going to be more of the same, more like that. But then I watched the movie, and then I saw the level of care, the actual attention to detail with the script, the story, the plot, the characters, the acting, especially the main actress, who I later found out was Kevin Bacon's daughter. I was just very impressed with her performance. I think a lot of the acting in this movie helps raise it and elevate it higher to what it even should be. I also think the directing, they made a lot of choices with how to tell the story and how to show certain things, reveal certain things. And you can tell that I was impressed. You can tell that I enjoyed this movie enough to put it this high on the list because I didn't love the ending. I even said that in my review. I did not love the ending of this movie, but the rest of it was so good that it still achieves this spot. At number 2, Scream 5. Here's another film that could have gone either way. This could have been horrible, could have been a piece of crap, and some people might not even agree with me that it was all that good. I saw some people who weren't as happy with it, but I thought bringing Scream back as a franchise, especially minus Wes Craven, it was a risk, and it's something that could have easily have gone the wrong way, but I think having a self-referential, having the meta-ness that Scream obviously comes with, I think is needed. It's my sort of favorite thing about a movie if you can do it right, if you can do it in a way that does truly come off smart. The reason for the killer doing what they're doing. I know some people think it's ridiculous, some people think it's crazy. I appreciated it. I did, given what fandom is nowadays and how seriously people take their love of movies and franchises and whatnot. I just thought this was something that was worth exploring. Also, bringing back the legacy characters was a big plus as far as Courtney Cox, David Arquette, Nev Campbell there, but I also love that they tried to work in new characters. To bring in fresh blood, to bring in new younger characters, but to not just kill them all off, which is kind of what Scream 4 did. It brought in so many young characters really just to all kill them. I didn't mind the twist of Billy and everything that went on there. But for my number 1 favorite horror movie of 2022, I know this might be a little controversial, but god damn it, Barbarian. Man, this movie blew me away. It surprised me. I just loved the writing of it. I loved how the movie was structured, how we first get introduced to these two characters and the Airbnb. I mean, Airbnb is such an easy premise, I think, to turn into a horror film. I'm surprised we haven't gotten more premises that involve Airbnb, but I love the misdirect. I love the back and forth on, hey, can you trust Bill Skarsgård? Can you trust this person? Can you trust that person? Justin Long, I thought, gave a great performance of playing just this douchebag type guy. And the way how they introduced him, I thought was very interesting, very different. There's a flashback scene with Richard Brenner that's very haunting and very creepy, and I just thought a lot of this movie worked. I thought once you get to the craziness, once you get to the monster, once you get to the threat, it ramps up and goes hard. It goes with the gore. It doesn't hold back. So guys, let me know in the comments below, what do you think of my list for my top 5 favorite horror movies of 2022? What were some of your favorite horror movies from this past year? Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later!